Hello everybody, I'm back, the Dragon 2121, continuing her reading of Phantom by Terry Goodguy. Please, guys, if you do have any questions about this series, if you want to know more, what the first book's called, anything, let me know, comment below, and I'll help you all out. But let's get straight back into reading. I remember where we left off, I have my finger on the page, we're good. So let's continue, shall we? Sister Armina wasn't older, like Sister Cecilia, but nearly as young and attractive as Sister Ulysses. To Kalan, though, their looks were insignificant in light of their inner nature. To Kalan, they were vipers. One way or another, Sister Ulysses added under her breath as she glanced at the door, there will be room. Lightning arced through the greenish, roiling clouds, releasing an ear-splitting boom of thunder. The door opened a crack. The shadowed face of a man peered out at them as he worked to button up his trousers under his nightshirt. He moved his head a little to each side so that he could take in the strangers. Judging them to be less than dangerous, he pulled open the door and with a sweeping gesture ushered them inside. "Come on in, then," he said, "all of you." "Who is it?" a woman called out as she descended the stairs to the rear. She carried a lantern in one hand and held the hem of her nightdress up with the other so that she wouldn't trip on it as she hurried down the steps. "4 women traveling in the middle of a rainy night," the man told her, his gruff tone alluding to what he thought of such practice. Kalan froze in mid-stride. He said 4 women. Remember what I said last video, guys? Yes. Back to the story. He had seen all 4 of them and had remembered as much long enough to say so. As far as she could recall, such a thing has never happened before. No one but her masters, the 4 sisters, the 3 with her, and the one they had come to meet, ever remembered seeing her. Sister Cecilia shoved Kalan in ahead of her, apparently not catching the significance of the remark. "Well, for goodness sake," the woman said as she hurried between the 2 plank tables. She hissed at the foul weather as the wind drove a rattle of rain against the windows. "Do get them in out of that awful weather, Orlan." Streamers of fat raindrops chased them in the door, sweating a patch of pine floor. The man's mouth twisted with displeasure as he pushed the door closed against the wet gust, and then dropped the heavy iron bar back in the brackets to bolt the door. The woman, her hair gathered up in a loose bun, lifted her lantern a little as she peered at the late-night guest. Puzzled, she squinted as her gaze swept over the drenched visitors and then back again. Her mouth opened, but then she seemed to forget what she had been about to say. Kalan had seen that blank look 1,000 times and knew that the woman only remembered seeing 3 callers. No one could ever remember seeing Kalan long enough to say so. She was as good as invisible. Kalan thought that maybe because of the darkness and rain, the man Orlan had merely made a mistake when he'd said to his wife that there were 4 visitors. "Come in and get yourselves dry," the woman said as she smiled in earnest warmth. She hooked a hand under her sister Ulysses' arm, drawing her into the small gathering room. "Welcome to the White Horse Inn." The other 2 sisters, openly scrutinizing the room, took off their cloaks and gave them a quick shake before tossing them over a bench at one of the 2 tables. Kalan noticed a single dark doorway at the back, beside the stairs. A fireplace made of stacked, flat stones took up most of the wall to the right. The air in the dimly lit room was warm and carried the distractingly enticing aroma of a stew in the iron pot hung from a crane pushed to the side of the hearth. Hot coals glowed out from under a thick layer of feathery ashes. "You 3 ladies look like drowned cats. You must be miserable." The woman turned to the man and gestured. "Orlan, get the fire going." Kalan saw a young girl of maybe 11 or 12 years slip down the stairs just far enough so she could see into the room from under the low ceiling. Her long white nightdress with ruffled cuffs had a pony stitched in coarse brown thread on the front, with a row of loose strands of dark yarn making up the mane and tail. The girl sat on the steps to watch, tensing her nightdress over her bony knees. Her grin revealed big teeth that she had yet to grow into. Strangers arriving in the middle of the night apparently was an adventure at the White Horse Inn. Kalan dearly hoped that Sorry, let me restart again. Kalan dearly hoped that she was all there. Kalan dearly hoped that was all there would be to the adventure. Orlan, a big bear of a man, knelt at the hearth, stacking on a few sticks of wood. His thick, stubby fingers made the wedges of oak look to be little more than kindling. "What would possess you ladies to travel in the rain at night?" he asked as he cast them a look over his shoulders. "We're in a hurry to catch up with a friend of ours," Sister Ulysses said, offering a meaningless smile. She kept her tone businesslike. "She was to meet us here. Her name is Toby. She will be expecting us." The man put a hand on his knee to help himself up. "Those guests who stay with us, especially in such troubled times, are pretty discreet. Most don't give their names." He lifted an eyebrow at Sister Ulysses. "Much like you ladies, not giving your names, that is." "Our lamb, they're guests," the woman scolded. Wet and no doubt tired and hungry guests. She flashed a smile. "Folks call me Emmy. My husband Orlan and I have run the White Horse since his parents passed away years back." Emmy gathered up 3 wooden bowls from a shelf. "You ladies must be famished. Let me get you some stew. Orlan, get some mugs and fetch these ladies some hot tea." Orlan lifted a meaty hand on his way past, indicating the bowls his wife cradled in an arm. "You're one short." She twitched a frown at him. "No, I'm not. I have 3 bowls." Orlan put 4 mugs down from the top shelf of the hutch. "Right. Like I said, you're 1 short." Kalan could hardly breathe. Something was very wrong. Sister Cecilia and Armina had frozen dead still, their wide eyes fixed on the man. The significance of the people's chit-chat had not escaped them. Kalan glanced at the stairwell and saw the girl on the steps leaning toward them, gripping the rails, peering out, trying to fathom what her parents were talking about. Sister Armina snatched Sister Ulysses' sleeve. "Ulysses," she said in an urgent whisper through gritted teeth. "He sees." Sister Ulysses shushed her. Her brow drew down in a dark glare as she turned her attention back to the men. "You are mistaken," she said. "There are only 3 of us." At the same time she was talking, she prodded Kalan with the stout rope rod she carried, shoving her farther back into the shadows behind, as if shadows alone would make Kalan invisible to the man. Kalan didn't want to be invisible. Once again, I apologize. Kalan didn't want to be invisible in the shadows. She wanted to stand in the light and be seen, really seen. Such a thing had always seemed an impossible dream, but it had suddenly become a real possibility. That possibility had shaken the 3 sisters. Orlan frowned at Sister Ulysses. Holding all 4 mugs in the grip of one meaty hand, he used his other to point at each visitor standing in the dark in his gathering room. 1, 2, 3. He leaned to the side, looking around the Sister Ulysses to point at Kalan. 4. "Do you all want tea?" Kalan blinked in astonishment. Her heart felt as if it had come up in her throat. He saw her, and remembered what he saw. Now that's very significant. You guys are going to see this later on. Why? Yes, I've read the book a little bit further, not many, like 4 more chapters ahead. But you'll see why this is so insignificant later on. I promise you guys. This will be great. We'll see you guys later. We'll continue on with reading chapter 2. Next video.